MMA lock of the night here, letting you guys know if you're looking for the full episode of Propping You Up, it's on the odds.com website. The link is in the description below, so make sure you guys go check that out. The full close to 2 hours that me and Cody Saftik went on covering UFC Vegas 18, headline by Alistair Overeem and Alexander Volkov. We went through all fights. We tried dissecting it from a props perspective. And again, it's all in the description below. Make sure you guys check that out. And we'll see you guys tomorrow evening for the final weigh-in stream at 9 p.m. Eastern for this UFC Vegas 18 card. See you guys tomorrow. All right, let's get to the main event. We got 245 people in here. You guys keep filing it in. Thank you guys for coming out on this Thursday evening and chilling with us. Make sure you guys hit that like below. That's the best way to show us support. Obviously, staying active in the chat is great, but hitting that like is just so easy. Just take your mouse, go down to that like button, and just click. That's it. That's all you got to do. All right, let's get into the main event here. We got Alexander Volkov coming in as a minus 200 favorite against Alistair Overeem at plus 170. I believe this is like number 6 heavyweight against number 7 heavyweight. Definitely a pivotal spot here. You got Overeem coming in, I believe, on a 2-fight winning streak. Both finishes over Walt Harris and Augusto Sakai last time around, and then Volkov coming off a 1 win over Walt Harris. Now, it's a tough one. This is, for Overeem fights, it's always like, is his chin going to hold up? Because if his chin holds up, his skills seem to still kind of be there, even at that 40-year-old age that he's at. And not just his skills keeping that in check, he's adding more tools to his belt. You know what I mean? Like, I put the statistic out. In his first 13 fights in the UFC, he only completed 3 takedowns. Then obviously the Curtis Blades fight happens. He changes camps, goes to Team Elevation, and he's had 5 fights since he's been at that gym. And now he's completed 7 takedowns. The guy is going out there and refining his game. He's changing his game. He knows he just can't go out there and throw bungalows anymore, and one of those guys are going to fall. I mean, he can't do that anymore. It's caught up to him. So what does he do? He mixes in the grinding. I mean, he's pushing guys up against the cage. He's using his legendary knees. I mean, he's beating these guys up to the body. Then he's taking them down. You've seen some of the takedowns that he's been pulling off in his last couple of fights. Like, when the hell did he learn to do that? Like, it's not just double legs. It's not just single legs. Like, this guy's like spinning into take. I don't know the exact terms, but there's some crazy takedowns that he's pulling off here. With that said, Volkov, I'm not going to say that we're getting a Curtis Blades type of performance from Overeem here against Volkov. He's not going to go out there and shoot 25 takedowns and land 14 of them. That's not going to happen. But he should be able to, in my opinion, if his chin holds up in that first round and a half, I expect him to go out there, put a bit of a pace and pressure on Volkov, pushing him up against the cage, taking him down every now and then, roughing him up a little bit. And I'm liking an Overeem by decision prop here. I think he's going to be able to wear on Volkov. I think that Volkov is quite durable. The only time we've seen him finish as of late was that bomb and that nuke by Derek Lewis. And again, that was a fight that he was going on to win. But I'm not entirely sure why people are propping Volkov up so high, especially after a win over Walt Harris. Like, who's Walt Harris beat? I mean, I don't even know why people are rating that win. It was a good win. Obviously, he went out there and finished him, which was great. But Walt Harris is Walt Harris. He's just a big athletic guy that can knock people out every now and then. Yeah, he clipped Overeem, dropped Overeem. Overeem showed great awareness, got back to his feet, took him down, and then just started whooping on him. I mean, so the one thing I don't like about Overeem, though, his defensive shell that he gets into. I mean, he backs up into the cage, puts his hands up, and just lets his opponents go ham. And if he's not knocked out by that point, he moves forward, breaks away, and then gets his game going. But those little moments make me skeptical in terms of putting the bet on Overeem here. I still think he wins. I still think he's going to be successful in mixing up the complete MMA game. He still has great striking, great clinch, like I was saying as well, has solid takedowns in his back pocket now. Whereas Volkov, I think he's mainly just a volume striker, not really known to be a knockout artist. You know what I mean? He's put on this crazy amount of weight for that Walt Harris fight. I think he came in 18 pounds heavier. But then again, that was up to the heavyweight limit at 265. So who knows how much he's actually walking around at. How much is that going to help him later in this fight? Now he has to go 25 minutes. He doesn't have 15 minutes to go. He has 25 against Alistair Overeem, a veteran Alistair Overeem that knows how to kind of pace himself now and take fights into the later parts of it. And yeah, he gave up the first 2 rounds to Augusto Sakai, and Sakai's game plan just went out the window, or his gas tank, whatever it was. We saw Overeem get him down over and over again and really start raining down those shots. So I'm loving the evolution that we're seeing from Alistair. I think it's like Alistair 3.0 at this point in time. But I like that decision prop. We got plus 550 on Overeem to win by decision. I think he just puts together an all-together game as long as he doesn't get knocked out early. That's the only qualm that I have. I don't know if we'll see Volkov actually beat him over 5 rounds. I like Overeem. Think he mixes it up together much better than Volkov and takes home a decision. What about you? What do you think?
Alistair the Demolition Man Overeem, one of my favorite fighters all time. And I think
Bring the hammer.
I think
Bring
he's
the hammer.
dead man walking right here. I think he's yeah, I think he's in for a rough one for sure. Listen, he's not Alistair Overeem version 3.0. He's kind of been on the right side of a couple fights that could have gone either way. Listen, the Walt Harris fight, he's getting tuned. He's getting absolutely smashed by Walt Harris, who has no notable victories. You nailed it yourself. Walt Harris is a 2.5-minute guy who knocks you out in that, and that's it, okay? He's also like 4 months removed from his stepdaughter getting kidnapped and murdered. He's largely overweight and looks very soft. And then the UFC parades the poor son of a bitch on stage being like, tell the story again. It's like, leave him alone, man. Like, what is going on here? They give him a headlining fight against Overeem. He's the favorite for whatever reason. And he's about this close to getting a stoppage win over Alistair Overeem. But Overeem comes back. Walt Harris gasses out for 3 minutes. Overeem gets the win. Now you got the Augusto Sakai fight. Augusto Sakai lights him up. Almost knocks him out. Defeats in the first 2 rounds, and then Augusto Sakai, comes in incredibly poor shape, is not ready for a 5-rounder, eventually just essentially gives up. Now, you mentioned the wrestling and all the new wrinkles to the game, and those are not good takedowns, my friend. Those are not. There's a reason why you don't see anybody else doing it. There's a reason why single legs, double legs, inside trips, outside trips, body lock takedowns, that's the way you get guys down. You don't see people coming in and suplexing each other. Why? Because it's a hard move to pull off. Overeem's out there suicide diving guys, right? He's out there football tackling guys. You look at this takedown over Stefan Struve. You look at the Yarazino Rosenstruck fight, but mostly the Sakai fights. The Sakai fight, Sakai's so tired. Overeem just pushes him into the cage and just pulls Sakai essentially onto him, knowing he's so tired. I'm just going to spin and get on top, reverse position, and end up on top. It's not high-level wrestling. It's low-level wrestling. And it's working because the guy he's fighting has no level wrestling and is extremely gassed out. It works against Walt Harris. It works against Augusto Sakai. It's not going to work against anybody with a modicum of wrestling. And whereas Alexander Volkov wrestling has largely been his kryptonite for a long time, he spent a lot of time working on it. Now, you mentioned a fact, with Volkov, he comes out there in his last fight against Walt Harris and he's bigger. He put on some mass. And how's that going to work now that he's got to go 25 minutes with Alistair Overeem? Who's got the best cardio at heavyweight, right? It's Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades he's at elevation. He's got fantastic wrestling. Volkov gives up 14 takedowns, okay? Alistair Overeem could not take down me 14 times, right? Because after 3, I'd be dead. Or no, after 1, I'd be dead. But after 3, he'd be physically gassed. Like, that's the thing. Look at him. He doesn't execute any type of energy anymore. Back in the day, he used to throw combinations. Back in the day when he was K1 level striker, Alistair Overeem, he'd go out there, he'd light you up with knees to the body. Now he just tries to throw 1 punch at a time, 1 or 2 punches at a time. Shell up defense, back up, 1 shot, maybe try to take you down. He's looking to slow everything down because he doesn't got great cardio. He's been knocked out 14 times in his professional MMA career, 3 times in his professional kickboxing career, and 100 times in his professional Netherlands hard training career, right? Like, this guy has been through the ringer. No doubt the right man can catch him. Most guys at heavyweight that catch him are going to put a hurt on him. The thing is, Sakai ran out of gas. Harris ran out of gas. Volkov won't run out of gas. So you look back against Curtis Blades and Volkov, 14 takedowns. In the 5th round, Curtis Blades, best cardio in the division, gassed, tired. Alexander Volkov, who's been getting up all fight long, putting it on him, coming back, giving a great account of himself. 5th round against Curtis Blades, taking down 14 times in that fight. Still coming at him. If he gives half of that effort against Alistair Overeem, he's got this. Overeem needs to knock him out in the 1st round. Possible, but I don't see it happening. And the volume is just going to wear towards Volkov. And the more the fight progresses, Volkov's just going to keep landing on him. And he's going to keep landing on him. And the one's going to hit. It doesn't have to be a hard shot. It's just got to be a clean shot. Overeem doesn't got a great chin. You can work him to the body. That same front body kick that you've seen to Walt Harris. When Overeem shells up, front body kick this guy, win this guy, tire this guy out. And whereas Sakai and Walt Harris got tired, when Volkov doesn't get tired, you're not going to see that Overeem comeback. He's like 2 months shy of his 41st birthday. He's definitely slowing down. He always talks about the one last heavyweight title fight run. But it's like as soon as he fights an actual contender, he gets knocked out. Look at all the contenders he's fought. He's fought all the best guys in the world. Yeah. Now, the last argument is, what about the Yarazino Rosenstruck fight where he went 5 rounds with him, arguably was about to win and then gets caught with by one of the second heaviest punch in the division next to Francis Ngannou, right? Yeah. Nasty. But it's just what about that fight? Look in that fight. It's no, he didn't. Rosenstruck opted to not do anything in that fight. He was just sat and waited. Volkov doesn't do that. He brings it to you. You know, Overeem's got an 80-inch reach, and that's actually played him very well over the course of his career. Volkov's got an 80-inch reach too, 6'7". He's the rangier guy. I'd say Overeem's a better kickboxer, but at 41, he's slower, man. Like, these guys are getting to him. The fact that Walt Harris is almost knocking him out, does that scream K1 level kickboxer? Dude, head kick Badr Hari? Does that scream this guy? No. And then you see him on those scales, and like, if I had a body like that, I wouldn't own shirts. The shirts would not be something that I would have any need for. But by his standard, ain't what he used to look like. Oh, man.
No.
This guy ain't, he's not Overeem, He's back to being Overeem. And at some point, he's going to start looking more like Valentine Overeem. big bro. Check out his record if you want. And yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's got to catch up eventually. So I had him against Walt Harris, and I had him against Augusto Sakai. And I lost 7 pounds in the Walt Harris fight and 4.5 pounds in the Sakai fight from sweating balls, man. Like, it's a sweat. But like, I'm not, even though he's making me money, even though I've been on the right side of it, like, I can't roll that train forever, man. Like, it's going to catch up with him eventually. And I think this is going to be it. So I got Volkov winning inside the distance. And that Volkov by TKO is plus 140. And that's what I liked here. I'm going to chase that Volkov by knockout. I know some people are saying, well, what about under 3.5? What about under 2.5? What about, over, under? I just think he's going to knock him out at some point. It could happen in the first round. It could happen in the fifth round. It could happen at any time in between. And yeah, he could get chin checked himself. Like, it's a fight that I don't think goes the distance, but it's heavyweight MMA. If they both slow down, it could go. But I think if Overeem slows down, Volkov won't. He'll put the pressure on him. He'll put him away. For that reason, Volkov's going to be the final pick and chase that by knockout prop plus 140.
Somebody said in the comment section, Pez dispenser knockout for Volkov here. And that's exactly kind of what's scaring me off here is like that shell that he does. Volkov has a very nasty uppercut of his own. And I could just see it creeping through that guard of Overeem and just absolutely deading him. But yeah, I'll stick with my Overeem pick. I like that decision prop. And you're on Volkov. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to hit up Gunny really quick. So what I mean by that, right, he opted not to do anything, is that you look at, say, Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou, right? It's not like anybody's trying to lose the fight. That's your second point here. No one's trying to lose the fight. I agree. Is they're opting not to do anything because Francis's styles, he goes after these guys. He knocks these guys out. Derek Lewis's style, he goes after these guys. Now you're matched up with a guy and you have that hesitancy where it's like, well, I don't really want to make the mistake. I don't really want to get caught with this shot. And so now you opt not do anything. You think that's your game plan, but when you rewatch the fight at the end of the day and you lost, if you're Francis Ngannou, you lost a split decision to Derek fucking Lewis of all people. You look back and it's like, shit, I just didn't do anything. I need to do a little bit more. You see that spot. So what I'm saying with Rosenstruck versus Overeem, he knows Overeem's trying to take him down. He knows Overeem's got big KO power, and so he's opting not to do anything. He's gonna wait. I got 25 minutes to work with. At some point he'll tire. I'll catch him. And with Overeem, I honestly, everyone had him up 3-1 going into the fifth. I did 2-2. Like, I didn't think he walked right through Rosenstruck. It was actually a pretty competitive fight beyond the first 2 rounds as the takedown stopped working after the first 2 rounds. In fact, he stopped trying the takedowns altogether because he opted to not do anything because he wanted to conserve some gas. So I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense to me, right? It's you go in with different game plans for different guys. And sometimes being the counter puncher is the game plan. Sometimes laying back and waiting the action to come to you is the game plan. Unfortunately, sometimes you lose a fight, you go back and you realize it was the wrong game plan. That's all.